Witness the transformation of Indian technology, powering the nation's digital stack and enabling small and medium businesses to scale globally. Explore how innovation and cloud technologies are revolutionizing processes, driving growth, and optimizing costs.
A lot of technology shifts have happened in the last decade, which is now being acknowledged around the world as the India digital stack, one of the most secure and the most, I would say, efficient digital stacks that anywhere in the world has got produced. And some of this is kind of known that India has a lot of demographic dividend, a lot of young people who are getting skilled and trained to enter the workforce. And with this foundation of digital stack that has got built, India can now talk about next decade being far, far better, which is leading to the numbers like 5 trillion, 10 trillion, 25, which seemed like impossible. We were half our size. In the last 8 years, the economy has kind of doubled. And a lot of that growth has been driven by innovative companies like my good friend Naveen runs here. 107 unicorns in the country. A lot of money is actually chasing good ideas which are coming into the country. So this is what we still believe. Deepak did cover the fact that 30% of the India's GDP is run by you. You also create a lot of employment. But also this new age force, the new kind of SMB which has come in, is actually showing us the way that if you started small, it doesn't mean that you will remain small right through the life. Because a lot of technology actually creates a digital access. It democratizes access to a lot of innovation and market access, even at a global scale. So thinking small maybe right now, where you focus on innovation, but the fact that you can scale to a much bigger presence, not just in India, but globally, is the confidence with which all of you should be facing the world.
Creation is the biggest way in which you can create value. Innovation is ingrained in within us. We are very deeply innovated. Again, if you go back and you think about what all can be done through innovation, we have an advantage as a country. We have an advantage because we have an amazing amount of talent, which is technology oriented. We can innovate faster because we can put more people at the job to try and test out innovation. But it requires you to be bold and ambitious to actually be innovating. If you want to be building things that have already been done before, trust me, your chances of failure are higher because you don't necessarily have a reason to succeed. But if you can build out an innovation on top of it, you would start to see results which are just disproportionate and exponential. And so the big ask in this is to be very, very innovative.
So 5 years back, a patient used to spend 4 days in Manipal hospital. That was the average. It has now come down to 2.97. So, a lot of that is because of clinical innovations, but a lot of that is also about the process innovations driven by technology. And the measure is that what it means is we treat the same number of patients, but have an extra day in hand, that our capacity is enhanced 25%, right? So many bed capacity is released. So that is a proxy that we could look at. Like you said, NPS, Google rating, those are other proxies that we would look at, We may not be able to narrow down an ROI on a particular intervention, but I think when we look at all these interventions put together, what it does for the patients, what it does for the larger community, and how it reflects on the matrices that we follow, and eventually what it translates to our P&L, that's the way we would want to look at it.
Because we're an e-commerce company, I think the amount of data, etc., that gets generated, especially at a large scale, is pretty huge, right? So for us, it's more about leveraging cloud solutions and leveraging cloud providers, because that getting into the business of running cloud is not something that is core to us, right? So for us, we are on the other side where we want to leverage cloud service providers, and that's sort of how we look at it. And in simple terms, like I think Srivijay was saying, it's more about fixed versus variable cost, right? You don't want to sort of run the hassle of maintaining data centers, sort of incurring the fixed cost. You want to be able to ramp up and ramp down. So you want to variabilize the fixed cost that used to earlier exist when people had all these on-prem sort of setups, right? So very clearly, I think moving to the cloud and using a cloud service provider is something that we have done and makes a lot of sense for us.
If you have to do something very customized and all that is possible, not a big deal?
I think where we are in terms of the innovation in cloud technology, now almost everything is possible, right? So especially when you operate at a big scale like Misho does, I think all of the cloud service providers are more than happy to sort of offer as much customization as possible, because for them, this is the core of their business. And for us, this is not something that we want to break our heads on, right? So it's sort of win-win on both sides.
I think one more element is the pay-per-use almost, or the scale-up, scale-down model, which is very, very flexible. And given, like, at least for us in the startup ecosystem, and presuming for both of you guys as well, like, a lot of experiments need to happen at times. You're not sure that whether you're going to scale this product really fast. Sometimes you'll just have seasonality kicking in where you need to, auto scale servers, and you need so much more load continued. To do that yourself and manage that yourself by, actually physically buying hardware or trying to manage your data centers, etc. It's going to be super hard to manage, versus this is very plug and play. To say, okay, I want to, auto scale this quickly for just 2 days. I want to test something that is new. I've seen if it doesn't work, I will scale down very, very quickly. So all those kinds of, with the managed services layer that Gaurav was talking about, is super efficient. I think it
But you have to be watchful of amount of, that you're not overusing and all of that, no? Costs can go out of control if you are not really careful about it,
yes,
right?
And that's the beauty of, that you can bring this up and down very, very quickly as well. That if you really want to, and the optimization that can be done there on figuring out, hey, I want, a lesser configuration server today, and I want to bring this down because load is coming down, or I want to go this, 2 notches up on my server configuration for just a week or 2 weeks. It's very simple to do. Like, to optimize, even incremental cost during weeks, during months, during seasonality in the year, I think that's the advantage that this brings along.
Okay.